Eddie Munson is one of the characters whose death never really made sense. But when you look at the lore of Dungeons & Dragons and compare it to Stranger Things, a pattern starts to emerge that's too clear to ignore. Eddie didn't die for nothing. His death perfectly fit Dungeons & Dragons lore. So get ready, because in this video we're going to explain why Eddie will return in Season 5 of Stranger Things. First of all, of course, there's the emotional aspect and the commercial aspect. The show knew it was creating a charismatic character that thousands of people would connect with and feel like he was their best friend. And the best thing they could have done was to put him deep in our hearts, only to kill him right in front of us. His impact was so great that it was obvious this would open the door for them to bring him back at the end of the story. What if all the beaches, the Hellfire Club's shirts and sweaters sold like hotcakes? Of course they were going to take advantage of Eddie to make a little more money. But well, not everything is commercial. Eddie might possibly return in Season 5 based on the events of this first part. We've already seen that now. Almost everyone is going to have Vecna's powers. All the kids he kidnapped now. 11, now with greater control over her powers, left Vecna completely vulnerable. Everyone is going to go against him. And this is where Eddie's return fits perfectly. Possibly, Vecna will be left alone against all the super-powered kids. So to even the battle, Vecna has an ace up his sleeve that no one expects. He can bring the dead back to life, and he's definitely going to build an army with everyone who had a death related to the Upside Down. We'll see iconic characters we thought we'd never see again. But the most powerful of them all is going to be Eddie. And of course, it's going to be very hard for the kids to take down all these innocent people who are now part of Vecna's army. So they're going to have to figure out a way to make Vecna break that connection he has with his soldiers. And this is where Eddie comes in. What's this? Why? Eddie is part of the most important lore in Dungeons & Dragons to defeat Vecna. In Dungeons & Dragons, Vecna was defeated by his own right-hand man, Cass. And when you analyze Cass's story, you realize how much it resembles Eddie's story in Stranger Things. Cass was a high-level warrior, beloved, charismatic, and practically impossible to forget. He was the greatest hero that Vecna could have ever found, and seeing his skills, his strength, and his presence, he knew he had to make him his right hand. Vecna even created a super powerful sword for him, the Sword of Cass, a sentient, dangerous weapon that could turn against anyone. And that's exactly what happened. Over time, the sword started whispering to Cass that Vecna didn't need him anymore, that he was better, that one day he would be discarded. Cass fell for that manipulation. He entered Vecna's realm, cut off his arm, tore out his eye, and started one of the most epic battles in the lore. Both of them disappeared, vanished from the plane they were on, and sometime later, Cass returned, transformed into a vampiric warrior, one of the most powerful beings of all. As you can see, there are many things that connect with Eddie's lore in Stranger Things. Eddie was a real professional in Dungeons & Dragons. In Hawkins, he was one of the most powerful warriors. He was always charismatic and loved by everyone, and he was so brave that he sacrificed himself to lure the bats from the Upside Down. He gave his life for others, which made him a hero to many. And believe me, Vecna noticed this. He found a warrior so loyal that he even gave his own life. That's where the theory about his return in Season 5 comes in. Eddie does come back, but as Vecna's dark champion. To understand this, we have to start from his death. Eddie didn't die like a normal human. He died inside the Upside Down, devoured by Vecna's demonic bats. And these creatures, far from being simple animals, work as extensions of Vecna's magic. They are souls launched as living projectiles in Dungeons & Dragons. This is how Vecna marks the beings he later reanimates. Vecna can rebuild bodies, corrupt them, and turn them into his soldiers. That's why Eddie wasn't torn to pieces. He was processed. The Upside Down didn't kill him. It simply transformed him. And that's where the first phase begins. Eddie comes back to life inside the Upside Down. Like a vampiric creature, his body, rebuilt with mutations, is reborn as a dark warrior, with no memory, no humanity, turned into a weapon. Vecna wants him as his enforcer, the guardian of the heart of the Upside Down, the exact equivalent of the role Cap Vecna played in the original mythology. And yes, this is where things really start to get interesting. Cass was only able to betray Vecna because he had a weapon with a will of its own, the Sword of Cass, a relic that completely hated Vecna and manipulated Cass into rebelling. And what is the only thing in the world of Stranger Things that has this kind of energy? That's right, Eddie's guitar, the instrument he used to challenge the Upside Down. Like that, to save Dustin, to become a symbol of sacrifice. That guitar is imbued with his rebellious spirit. The curious thing is that nobody knows what happened to this guitar after Eddie's death. When that guitar plays the Upside Down again, something is going to change. This dimension distorts everything. For example, the Krill house, the trees, the weapons, everything is transformed into this nature. So by being exposed, by being put back in, the guitar will start to mutate and become something new. Cass's new sword, upside down version, a living weapon that vibrates, sings, whispers, and reacts. It will charge Eddie's fragmented weapon. That guitar sword is designed for one thing only, to destroy Vecna. Just like in Dungeons and Dragons, it's the weapon whose purpose is to destroy the master who created it. The kids might meet Eddie again, but now in that mutated version of the Upside Down, who is now gonna hurt them because he's on Vecna's side. After managing to escape, Dustin will find Eddie's guitar, and he'll learn to use it in an attempt to bring his memory back. In the final battle, Dustin will go for Eddie's pick, which Eddie gave to his uncle, and he'll play the guitar in the Upside Down, which will help Eddie regain his own consciousness. So, when the group tries to use it to find Eddie, the weapon will start to vibrate. Dustin holds it and feels something in it beating while he plays a solo. When Eddie approaches, corrupto, lacking humanity, the guitar will know him. The vibration disrupts the mental trance. And when it's in Eddie's hands and gives him back memories, the guitar mutates into an upside-down version, becoming a guitar sword. The corruption finally breaks, Eddie wakes up, and with that, the prophecy is born. The champion that Vecna created will become the warrior who destroys him. And here begins the final betrayal. Eddie cuts off Vecna's arm, exactly the arm he uses to control minds. Then he stabs the sword into his eye, replicating the great Dungeons and Dragons myth. Vecna is furious. He tries to overpower him, but it's too late. The weapon was built to defeat him. After a long fight, Eddie will deliver the final blow. Vecna will fall, the Upside Down will shatter, but sadly, Eddie doesn't return with the others. So, what do you think? How do you think the story of Cass from Dungeons and Dragons connects with Eddie in Stranger Things? Don't forget to leave your comments and subscribe for more Stranger Things videos.